Why hello there, and welcome back to Some Weirdo on the Internet Recommends Several Zine Quest Projects. It is the last day of Zine Quest 2K22. Or, it is while I'm recording this. I will then edit it and put it on the internet, at which point it will be one day after the last day of Zine Quest 2K22, because that's just kind of how internet videos work. Anyway, point is, it is the final day of Zine Quest, so now let's look at some projects from the final week of Zine Quest. Starting with Try the Beetle Milk, which is a point-crawl adventure for Cairn. I've never actually had to say the name of this game out loud before. One of those was probably close. Anyway, this is a thing where, as some of these are, there's not a lot of information provided, but it looks cute and fun and a little wacky from, the fact that it's called Try the Beetle Milk. Presumably there's beetle milk involved, or not. And that's the thing, either of those is interesting. So, try the Beetle Milk. And next up, Transformation, a solo journaling game about turning into a monster. So, it's kind of like The Fly, the game, but like 1986's The Fly, not 1958's The Fly. They are two different takes on the same basic concept of turning into a fly monster, but this one seems to more closely replicate the 1986 version. And this is one of those things that, like, in movies we've all seen if you're a horror fan, you've seen it dozens of times. If you are a normal person, you have seen it a handful of times. And that is because it is an interesting character journey to watch. And that means it should also be an interesting character journey to experience firsthand in this gaming experience that I am describing. It is also a solo journaling game with mechanics. Not like a lot of mechanics, but some degree of mechanics beyond generate a random prompt and write a response. And as I have said on multiple occasions, I like when the solo and especially journaling games have mechanics to them beyond just, here's a thing, write about it. And now, Medieval Modern, which is, I'm just going to say, a modern fantasy setting or setting supplement. I'm not really sure if it's a whole setting or just additional things for other settings. But here's the cool thing. The reason why it's in this video, because modern fantasy is not, that exciting. But the thing is, whereas a normal modern fantasy, what you are thinking of when I say modern fantasy is taking fantasy elements and putting them into the modern world. Whereas what this is doing is taking modern concepts and putting them into a medieval fantasy setting. So, like, there are high-rises and roller skates, but they are all interpreted through a more medieval-type understanding of technology and science, etc. So, you have these modern concepts, but in a game that is still, at its heart, more of a traditional medieval fantasy, with no cars or guns or gramophones or iPods. iPods! That's a thing that people are still talking about, and I'm sure everyone knows what they are. And that's actually it for this video. Only 3 games. It is the last week of Zine Quest. Most people already blew their load much earlier in the week. So it's just kind of the stragglers, or maybe the people who wanted to launch their project when there wasn't going to be as much competition. I guess that might work out because I could only find 3 that I really wanted to talk about for this video. And as I've been doing in all of these videos, I must of course mention Satanic Panic, the role-playing game, my Zine Quest project, still time left to back that one. A game where you are a satanic cultist in the 1980s. It's kind of a little play off on the whole thing about how Dungeons & Dragons was believed to be linked to occult activities in the 1980s. which is kind of hilarious if you play Dungeons and Dragons and realize that it's mostly linked to drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos and yelling about insignificant rules. And of course, there's a link to that in the description, along with all of the other projects that I have talked about in this video. Zine Quest is over. But I will be back with more Zine Quest videos in like 5 months, because that's when the next Zine Quest is. Zine Quest 5, 2K23, is gonna go back to February, apparently. I mean, I will be back, like, literally this Saturday. I've got a video on, I believe, one-page role-playing game, so you can watch that. You can continue enjoying me for this entire 5-month period leading up to Zine Quest 5, or I guess you can just go away and come back then. I would prefer that you do the first one. Anyway, thank you for watching. Extra special thanks to my Fight and Flail Snails, Samuel Gorski, Randy Mulholland, and Toshirokuro. If you would like to be cool like them, you can check out my Patreon. You can get early access to videos and fun stuff that I make for the Patreon. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. You can still hit all the lovely buttons, like, subscribe, these other videos, which, as I said earlier, if you are just here from the Zine Quest videos, maybe you will enjoy these other videos, as they are presumably lovely videos. And I will see you all next time, whenever that happens to be.